Gracia, now I don't know if it's Gracia or Gracia or whatever. I'm going to say her name as Gracia, and it doesn't matter because it's a maths question. So Gracia had some pens. 2/5 of the pens were blue and 1/6 of the remainder were black. The rest were red and green. There were 12 more red pens than blue pens. If there were 24 green pens, we're asked how many red and blue pens did Gracia have and how many pens did Gracia have altogether. Now, I really like this question because it's really only as you draw the model that you realize that, yes, you do have enough information, because at some points you must be thinking, oh no, how am I going to work this out? Now, what I notice with the textbook answer is for some reason, well, this is, they drew the model from the point of view of someone who already knew the answer. So I am going to draw it how it's being presented, in the order the information is being presented. Right, but let's have a look. So Gracia had some pens, and 2/5 of the pens were blue. So for the first thing we're going to do is to draw a bar for all of the pens. And okay, so this is going to represent all of the pens, and we're going to split this bar into fifths. So let's say that's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay. Right, so where are we? It says that 2/5 of the pens were blue. Okay. So here is blue, and you are going to have to label really carefully. So that's 2/5 of all of the pens were blue. And we're told that 1/6 of the remainder were black. So what's the remainder? This is the remainder that they are talking about. Okay. And if we think of this remainder as a whole, which it is now, for this fraction, it's the whole that we're talking about. 1/6 were black. Now, currently this whole is divided into thirds. If we subdivide all of these, if we divide all of these into 2 parts, we're ending up with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we've got sixths. And 1/6 of this remainder were black. So, okay, that's that portion there. Now we've divided these up. So what I'm going to do is also do that. Okay. What I might do is also draw a line around this, which you don't need to do yourself. It's just because I want to make sure that you are following me. When you draw it for yourself, you will know what you mean. Okay. So these are the blue pens. These are the black pens. And it says the rest were red and green. Okay. So I'm going to do it up here. This part is red and green. Okay. Now this is where it gets a little bit tricky, and you're just going to have to think. What are we told? It says that there were 12 more red pens than blue pens. Okay, 12 more red pens than blue pens. Well, this is how many blue pens we have. Now you might be thinking, oh, should I, all right, draw a separate comparison model? I don't think you need to do that. So let's have a look and see if you follow me. I'm going to use a color that's reddish. Okay. How many of these parts, all right, are blue? So blue has 4 parts. So I'm going to shade in. So let's say that's 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's the red pens being the same as the blue pens. Okay, you with me? This is 4 parts would have red as the same as the blue. But we're told that there are 12 more red pens than blue. Now, what have we got left? We have got one of these parts left. And this part must have red and green pens in it. Now, we're told that 12 out of this part that's left, we've got 12 are red. Okay? Which must mean that this bit represents the green. And we're also told that there were 24 green pens. I'm going to put that in green. So this is the green. Okay, and here we have from here to here is red. Okay, so this is the bit that's the, I think that's the, the clever little bit where we know, okay, we've got 4, 1, 2, 3, 4 parts must be red. That's equal to the blue plus 12 more. We're going into that next part. And hopefully you can see that we've discovered something useful now. And that's because we can now see, right, remember this is one of these equal parts, that we've got values here, 2 values here, 12 plus 24. If we add 12 and 24, we get 36, which is the value. That's how many pens are represented by each of these equal parts. Right, all of them have a value of 36, and we can put that in if we want to. So just to make it clear, you don't have to do this. I'm just trying to make sure that you are following me. Okay, all of these have a value of 36. Okay, we've got values everywhere now. Let's go back and figure out what the question is asking us. So the question, we've got 2 questions. One is, how many red and blue pens did Gracia have? Well, we can do this a number of different ways. We could count up the number of equal parts that are blue and red. So that would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so if we look at, this is A, we've got 8 times 36. Okay, 8 of those equal parts. 8 times 36 is 288 plus that 12. So 288 plus 12. Okay, and that is going to give us a total of 300 red and blue pens. So that's 300. And how many pens did Gracia have altogether? Well, we can simply count the number of equal parts. Now, remember that this is 36. This is, 1 part. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And that's nice and easy. So we're going to have the 10 times 36 is 360. And that is the answer to B. Okay. Now, again, if you've got access to the textbook, they just drew this in a different order. And what they did was sort of anticipating that we wanted to know the red and blue pens together. They just kind of reshuffled. They drew things in a different order. So you ended up with the blue and red together. So they had the black and then the red and green. But I think that And if you drew it that way, that's great. If that's what occurred to you, if you realize that when you read this question, then fantastic. But I think that most people would have, and certainly most people that are solving this because they need to use the model to help them realize what to do, probably would have drawn it this way. And you can see it works. And I think it's just really neat. You thinking, what am I going to do with the red? I've got this extra 12. That must be part of that. And then I've got a value for the rest of it. So I think it's a really good question.